Just for the play.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Quick shot here, joined by Spawn as we take over the caster desk, elevate the height just a tad, and we'll be rounding out the 5v5 for the day. It is Thanksgiving in at least East Coast, so welcome to Turkey and to our American viewers if you are still watching. Turkey, what are we expecting here, Spawn?
Yeah, I'm expecting big things because, you know, the lineup that they sent to the IWCA at least performed fantastically, had a little bit of a letdown at MSI and trickled off after that, but this is a proud region full of very proud players, and the man on your screen right there, Tholdren, went off at IWCA, so I cannot wait to see if he can get back to that level.
He's going to be playing up against Archie this time around, of course. Southeast Asia picked up a win. They beat the locals, Oceania, earlier today, but let's be honest, they kind of gave that game away. I mean, they let Carbon get the Baron steal, and Southeast Asia were maybe a little lucky to punish a mistake.
Yeah, definitely were, and that's one thing I will say, that they started off with a game plan. They looked fantastic, but as the team fight started, maybe a little miscommunication or uncoordination came through, and I want to see whether they can clean that part of their game up, because that's what C is famous for as a region, being able to smash people in team fights.
So let's find out if Turkey can match that smashing power. It's, of course, the first time we're seeing them. This is the 7th and final region from the IWCA. Straight out the gates, taking GP off the table. We've seen, honestly, a whole plethora of champions across the entire day. There's not really a standard when it comes to the ADCs or top lanes, mids, maybe the junglers to some extent, but even then, not really.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, I was watching an LPL cast, an NEST cast on this same patch, and one team went all AD carries. They had a Graves top, they had like Kayle, Caitlyn. The other team went like Rammus, Mundo, like Zed, and just went complete anti-AD carry. So there seems to be so many ways to play on the current patch, and each team is going to irk something different out of it and see if they can get that advantage.
So we'll find out. One of these teams decide to lock in their champions in a moment or two. No big surprises. Mundo off the table again. One of the highest bans today. Soraka's 2 for 2 as far as bans are concerned. We want to keep track of this for the Stress versus Yamata Cannon, Soraka versus OP or not OP. But these teams are taking their time.
They certainly are, and one thing I do want to point out from GPL is that they've banned Twisted Fate again. And this is something that Oceania, I guess, imposed on the C region. They played it a couple of times in the group stages, then once in the final, the Chiefs versus the Bangkok Titans at IWCQ, and from that period onwards, they've just gotten it off the table. They don't like the global pressure it provides and prefer to allow G4 to split push and pull people around the map where he can play those assassins.
So we'll find out if G4 gets his hands on a comfy assassin. Southeast Asia ban out Tom Kench as their final champion. Second time, so they banned it on blue side, they banned it on red side. Maybe they just don't like that champion. Again, up against, of course, a different squad. And for Turkey, Rek'Sai is available. We've seen when Elise is taken off the table, Rek'Sai raises in priority. We've not seen Kindred.
Yeah.
Banned once or twice, but not actually seen her yet.
That's who I was actually going to point out, because Kindred is one of those annoying AD carries that if you get the Rift Herald onto her, maybe with a tanky top laner, you start shredding through these turrets. And once again, with the ultimate at level 6, very easy to turret dive. So surprised we haven't seen it, but there it is.
So we are a little bit figuring this one out. Are you expecting this in Holy Phoenix's hands or Crystal's? That's the real question.
So from what I know of Crystal, he does like to go a little bit deep sometimes. He is an initiator for his team, and I think it'll be very fun to watch him play a new highly mobile jungler. So looking forward to seeing if he does pick it up. In saying that, Crystal is so famous for his Rek'Sai. When you think of Crystal, you think of Rek'Sai, and that is still available, so maybe it can be changed around.
Yeah, SOFM could take that away, deny that opportunity, but I like the power of the flex, right? It gives you that a little bit of doubt. Southeast Asia will lock in Kalista, Thresh, their bottom lane. Moss went to town on EDG with his roaming Thresh. He has death sentences for days. And Turkey have to figure out how to dodge those.
Yeah, and Moss had a great first game. I think he took the Alistar away from Ejim in that set versus Oceania and did great things. And we'll see on his signature champion this time whether he's able to have a similar performance. Optimus, we've seen a lot of Kalista. I actually thought she would fall off with the changes to crit, but people just seem to sub in the Infinity Edge instead of the Bloodthirster after a couple of items and go to town with a Hurricane still.
It's just so many things you can do with the Kalista. Or initiation, peel, engage, disengage, poke. Like, there's nothing she does badly, really, if you think about it.
She even has good range and mobility, right? So she's just an overall safe pick. And Yamato Cannon always says it's about the support when you've got Kalista on your lineup, because Moss now can go berserk.
So let's see what Moss can do. But Turkey have locked in Corki. Now, I love Corki. That special delivery on Valkyrie is just like a homemade rumble, and it is my favorite spell in the game at the moment. The only problem is he gets me killed all the time because I just jump into every single team fight and hope I can then Velk out. So I want to see what Holy Phoenix can do with it.
Well, I don't even know whether it will go to Holy Phoenix because Naru is a big-time Ezreal player in the mid lane as well. And Corki fits this kind of hybrid, like mishmash of AP, AD damage right now and can be played there. I know that Rusty is a big fan of it, so we'll see whether that is the AD carry position. If it is, I expect Naru to take an AD carry somewhere else on the map to try and balance out that magic damage.
Well, let's see how Turkey decide. But again, another flex. You know, we do know Naru plays that Ezreal mid lane. If there was one thing you wanted to run into ranged auto attackers, I think Malphite is a safe option. Yamato talked about on the desk earlier, one of the highest win rates. The auto attack speed slow as well as building all the armor. Last Whisper less effective on this patch, so good luck in there for Archie.
Yeah, it certainly is. Also interrupts Valkyrie quite easy if you're at close range, so it's very easy to roam around with Malphite and gank. Team 8 was actually really famous for doing that in the North American region, so we'll see whether that is something that Archie is able to get done. And so far, it looks like they have a lot of people that can start up these team fights. So as long as G4 gets someone that can put out consistent AoE damage, a pretty well-balanced comp so far out of the GPL lineup.
Only lacking a tiny bit of magic damage, I feel, on the side of Southeast Asia. But we're seeing that Lee Sin as well. SOFM had a great Rengar game earlier today, really punishing the Oceanic squad and finding those baller strikes. Now we're going to see what he can do with the Sonic Waves and the kickbacks. For Turkey, 10 seconds left before they round out their composition, and they're going really all in on the magic. With a LeBlanc locked in and a likely Rumble, we should expect Kindred jungle. That's a lot of range, a lot of poke, but no front line to speak of.
And that's what I was going to say. You know, as soon as one Lee Sin kick comes through from SOFM, it's going to be so hard to live through the team fight. I think they're banking on an all-in engage and then hoping that the Kindred ultimate can save someone and they can clean up the back end of the team fight. But right now, G4 is locked in probably one of his most famous champions in that Yasuo. And if I knew anything from the IWCA tournament was do not let this guy get an assassin.
So we have battle lines drawn. It is Turkey against Southeast Asia. It is Magic against Physical. It is Poke and Kite versus Wombo Combo. You couldn't get a starker difference in team compositions here. And I want to see, Naru had some big words about the lack of competition in his local region. G4's got some world experience and may say, come on, let's go to town.
Yeah, I certainly agree. And G4, the thing that I will admire the most about him is he does not shy from any challenge. He would not be intimidated going up against Naru. Hell, this is a guy that picked Aurelia into Faker and went to town in that match. I've got first blooded at level 2, you know, but didn't back down from the fight.
He went to town because he was killed so early.
Yeah, exactly right. He just had to go back.
Is not a bug.
But we'll see whether he's able to have a better performance, because I think it was game 4 against the Chiefs when he was able to grab this champion. Just was absolutely phenomenal.
So pressure on G4's shoulders. If you can get ahead with that Yasuo, it can block out so much damage with the wind wall. And of course, Turkey looking to get on the board, looking to pick up their first win at the International Wildcard All-Stars. There's your team compositions on screen. Jump on Twitter. Let us know who you think will win. Check out the @lol_Oceania. They've been running those polls for every single game. And let's see if GPL and Southeast Asia can pick it up and go 2-0.
Yeah, and you know, looking through the Turkish lineup, this all-in team fight really does suit how they like to play. Tholdren is a great Rumble player, but over on GPL, it looks like they might just have enough disengage to get away from this, and no one can really stop the split push out of G4. So I think there might be a little bit of conflicting styles and maybe regional differences, and that's why I love these tournaments so much.
Well, we'll find out if those conflicting styles and regional differences will come into play, and just how good the communication is on the side of GPL. Their team fights against Oceania were pretty good earlier today, and they're going to need to be very good if they want all of these knockups and this Yasuo-empowered comp to really pay off.
Yeah, there certainly is a lot there to get G4 going, putting a lot of pressure on him. Tholdren actually has a favorable matchup here into Archie, but Archie played a pretty good Shen, just a nice, big, beefy player. And we'll see whether he's able to have a similar performance on Malphite.
And you know, we haven't seen many lane swaps, if any, throughout the course of the day. It's not a big surprise considering the coordination involved. But when GPL did initiate some shenanigans earlier today with that, you know, between Tower 2 and Tower 3, pulled the wave, denied some waves to Oceania, it showed at least some level 1 prep and some planning. we're not seeing it this time around.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be a one-and-done strategy. I know they would have put a lot into beating the Oceanic lineup. A little bit of a rivalry has begun to form there. But this time it looks like they're very comfortable. And why would you not be? Thresh Kalista bottom lane is an absolute pain to go up it with a 2v2, and Morgana not really going to be able to add much to that harass in the early game that Corki needs to be able to put down.
So we'll find out if Holy Phoenix can get those fast bombs.
Ooh, a Q start from G4. That's really strange to see out of Yasuo players.
Yeah, because it's traditionally now Emax as well, isn't it, to that 522. Let's find out. Got an early knock-up, so advantage, G4.
Yeah, it certainly is, of course. The new masteries really do suit Yasuo, especially in a split push situation. Don't really have to build that lifesteal. Get 100% crit off just 2 items with that Static Shiv and Infinity Edge. So G4 playing arguably one of the more strong champs on this patch.
I want to see how far ahead G4 can get. Look at this trade down bottom. The Holy Phoenix has been chunked out. Moss really zoning Holy Phoenix and Double Doge away.
Well, this is a thing about the Flay auto attack as well as the Soul Link passive that comes in from Optimus's Kalista. Just means that the auto attack trades early on in the game are always going to go in the Thresh Kalista lane. Now they've got level 2 on Double Doge. He wants to go aggressive.
Well, the Dark Binding doesn't connect, but nor does the Death Sentence. It is a comedy of errors as every skill shot goes wide. We'll pretend it didn't happen, all right?
Get their eye in.
Exactly.
You miss 100% of hooks you don't take. A little bit of an invade coming in right now as well for SOFM. One thing I do want to point out, he took Exhaust, so he wants to fight in the jungle there, especially against Crystal, who is going up on that Kindred.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out because I didn't actually notice that. But I guess there are more rewards easier accessible on 522 for SOFM. So at least we'll allow those ward hops to work out in his favor. And we've actually got a little bit of a jungle steal here from Crystal on that Kindred. I want to track his marks. We do need to keep track of how many of those marks and those hunts he's able to secure with Wolf. Because those empowered autos could become difficult for GPL's team to deal with.
Yeah, it certainly is relevant, especially when that Baron does start to come into play. The longer the game goes, as once again, Tholdren trying to push Archie and maybe setting up for a dive, although action in the mid lane.
Oh, G4 manages to get away from those chains, but we did see Archie. He's being pushed out quite heavily. A Flame Spitter from Tholdren shoving the wave in, so the CS deficit will hurt a little for Archie, but I think the matchup is going to be tough until the team fights start happening, really. That's where Malphite's going to shine.
It certainly is, and you know, they both want to do the same thing in top lane. Farm up, see if they can impact bottom lane with those teleports and get busy. Because realistically, not much hope in killing the Malphite as a Rumble, but also the fact that Malphite just has so many mana issues at the start of the game. He's not going to be able to do much either.
Yeah, it is definitely the case. So for Archie, survive and sustain. G4 is being pushed around for a mid laner with experience and history on Assassins. Naru's doing well. Takes a turret shot, just overstepping his bounds, but he gets the exhaust out of G4 in trade for the Ignite.
SOFM comes in, cleans up the minion. There's Moss.
He come for the roam. Actually pulled up Optimus as well. I got so excited about the clone kill that I didn't even notice they had roamed.
That is such a strange roam to come out at this point of the game. I feel like they thought they could kill the mid lane, maybe go pick up an early Rift Herald and start trying to control the map, but in the end, they just roam around. Holy Phoenix picks up some CS for himself.
So manages to keep himself healthy. Early backs have already come in, so Ruby Crystal in the top lane for Archie, Boots and Amp Tome for Tholdren's Rumble. Any carry still farming themselves up, so it's pretty even Stevens. And really, Double Doge, not the greatest accuracy on those Dark Bindings yet. But swing and a miss. It's when it hits, that's what counts. Phoenix takes a chunk, eats the Flay. Valk's out defensively, and this one connects from Double Doge. They put the Ignite down. Exhaust is onto Holy Phoenix. Holy is going all the way forward. Fast Bomb plus another auto attack will give first blood to Double Doge. Optimus is looking for a kill back.
Oh, wow.
Holy Phoenix is dancing on the turret aggro line, and he manages to get taken out. Optimus goes down. Double kill for Double Doge.
Double Doge once again coming up absolutely massive. A good flash out of Moss actually denied the kill from Holy Phoenix. So, you know, arguably the Kalista will get a tiny bit more out of that, but Double Doge will be able to go back, secure that early HP and Sightstone, and really try and roam around and help the rest of his team.
I have so much regret. All I needed to say, it's a Double Doge. I missed my opportunity for a great one-liner.
That's all right. If we know the support player out of Turkey, he'll get another one this game.
Oh, I feel so bad knowing that Pulse and Atlas and Riv and all the play-by-players will be yelling at me, so sorry guys, I let you down. But very good plan, as you said. Never a bad thing to get an advantage on Unleash your supports.
Yeah, so we'll see whether he is. He does go back, picks up a whole bunch of wards and a ping. So, and the other thing about Kindred is she does Dragon really well. So if they can get any control over the bottom side of the map, might open that up, because we've seen that games are going a little bit longer than we thought they would be.
We have to take a look at Kindred's stacks at the moment. How many of those hunts has she been able to complete? Also, when is she going to target somebody? If you look at the mini-map, making her way towards G4. Let's find out if any CC can connect. Wolf's Frenzy comes down. Nari's looking for the chains. Will miss, but still force out the flash. Holy Phoenix is going, holy crap, because he just got dunked in a 3-man dive.
Yeah, but the exhaust came out of SOFM. Maybe a little bit of overkill there. Didn't really need to burn the summoner spell. Might give the Kindred an advantage in a 1v1. They're still going.
Well, Crystal and Dumbledore in a 2v2 for the time being. Optimus is nearby. Dark Binding connects, but there's simply no follow-up. And SOFM did use his Dragon's Rage, so in the end, nothing further transpires. But GPL, they've got themselves 2 kills now.
Yeah, they certainly have. Hawk just goes by there.
There's no ulti for SOFM. Wolf's Frenzy is down. Dumbledore is on the wrong side of town.
And a nice shutdown picked up. Optimus grabs another kill. Now bottom lane definitely in the favor of the GPL lineup. And SOFM, wow.
That was not too bad at all. Exhaust is on Naru. He misses another. Oh, I take that back. The chain does actually proc. Naru gets knocked up. G4 decides not to follow in. Crystal's looking for the mounting dread. The Dance of Arrows is continuing to follow. And he manages to pick up the kill.
Yeah, and a little bit of a strange wind wall in the end means that it doesn't block anything. Crystal able to dance in there, grab himself a kill after a little bit of an ambitious 1v1, you have to say, from G4. And this is a very scrappy fight at the start of the game.
Well, scrappy I do not mind. IWCA has proved to be action-packed and bloody. We heard the World War II alarms, which means Holy Phoenix can go pick up that special delivery on the mini-map. You can see them. I can't wait. It is literally my favorite spell, so we'll find out how effectively he can use it, if at all.
And it's so strange in the bottom lane in particular, because sometimes you just dive that far ahead of your support that you're like, what the heck am I even doing here? But we'll see whether he can put it to good use, as Dumbledore might be getting baited here.
Sonic Wave connects, Black Shield comes up, and will at least root SOFM in place. A little bit of extra gold there as SOFM's looking for more. He's got the support of Moss from the river, and Holy Phoenix is now caught up. Dragon's Rage boots the Phoenix into the river, and he gets dropped, not before taking one with him. Dumbledore was able to get some help there with the assist, and they trade 1 for 1.
Yeah, 2 of the bloodthirstiest supports going at it right now. Moss and Dumbledore. SOFM, this is why he's really famous for his Lee Sin. Outright aggression from the full Lewis jungler. And all of a sudden, G4 looking for a roam. No, he turns around. He might be trapped.
Archie's in a little bit of trouble. He's still down in CS. He's at least pushing Thaldrin in. But unfortunately, the dive was not to be. And there we go. Thank you, observation team. Holy Phoenix is going to look to engage. Dumbledore does have those soul
ultimate.
shackles.
Yeah, so we'll see whether Dumbledore maybe kicks this one off and goes in.
And there's a teleport from Thaldrin. The equalizer's going to get dropped. It's going to get followed with a special delivery. Holy Phoenix is on the board, and Dumbledore gets himself one more. Archie, you do not want to be here. He's got himself 1 kill onto the Faker killer. He's knocked up Holy Phoenix and Thaldrin, and they don't want to be flying. Thaldrin's now in trouble, and with the GPL roam, they've got themselves some kills back. The exhaust onto Naru prevents any further bursts, and Archie gets out alive. The ignite doesn't kill him. Thaldrin will get one on the way back as he sneaks under my vision. Crystal gets knocked up in the air. Lamb's bite is down, and that means nobody can be down. Finally, it times out. They're still fighting. Knockup connects onto Crystal as he's dropped, and Thaldrin, how are you still alive? He's finally taken down by SOFM. And what was that?
What a team fight out of the GPL region, and this is why you don't take scrappy fights into them. They're just able to live on the barest of health. And wow, SOFM's Lee Sin, 3-1-4, that was amazing. Teleport did come through to start that all up, and then the big special delivery, as you said. But Archie, he looked like he didn't want to be there. It started perfectly for the Turkish lineup, but very good kiting, a great bait coming out, and the Lee Sin player just going berserk and doing so much damage with the new warrior enchant. That's 60 AD now, meant that they couldn't clean up the fight.
The fight was just on so many fronts. Archie sticks around a couple seconds too long, gets dropped by Thaldrin, and you know, at the end of the day, GPL make this work. They come back, they get the delayed ace effectively, and we didn't really see the power of that Lamb's Respite helping out the Turkish squad at all, and it's not over yet. Now Holy Phoenix comes back, and it's Tumble Doge, 4-2-2.
And here's Crystal one more time.
Let's take a look. Lamb's Respite is not available. I take it back, it is. Not going to be needed yet. Naru's dropped as he's under the tower. They're going to trade one more back. G4's down. Crystal and Thaldron, they're looking for more. Turret is too high. Equalizer does not connect. But Double Doge does. Oh, what on earth? 12 minutes in, 20 kills, and gold is even.
Yeah, and this is absolutely beautiful to watch. This is going to be one of the most accelerated games we've seen. Archie trying to defend a turret. I think we're going to have another fight.
I think we do. Unstoppable Force is available. Not going to use it just yet. How on earth do you judge who's going to pull ahead when everybody has all of the kills?
I actually thought they were going to go for that. They had ult on Double Doge as well as Crystal. Probably could have started that one and maybe even dove the Mel fight, but instead they settle for a turret and we get maybe a little quiet calm.
Don't speak too soon because GPL are grouped up and the Unstoppable Force catches the Crystal as the rock lands in his face. Death Sentence will connect as well, and Lamb's Respite is not long enough. Crystal gets shut down as G4 gets the kill credit. He's got himself that Static Shiv completed. Holy Phoenix has got his hands on that Essence Reaver. They're the two biggest items at the moment. Thaldron's basically power on with the Haunting guys, and he's the one that's now in trouble. Sorry, Spawn, you're not allowed to talk because Thaldron's getting killed.
And you know what? This kind of game actually suits GPL so much as Optimus.
Well, let's find out. Holy Phoenix does have some burst. He's going to Valk over the wall. Burning will hurt Optimus. Get some AoE down. 400 hit points versus 400 hit points. Make that 300. Flash for flash. The Frost Bomb. The rocket. Not going to be enough. Holy Phoenix needs to get past the wall. And it's too big and too great. Now Double Doge is in trouble again. The Black Shield will at least prevent the Death Sentence. Get me another play-by-play. I'm running out of oxygen. Naru continues to chase forward. The chains root Moss down, and he gets sent to the fishes as SOFM manages to run away.
And Naru is not done yet. Will he go over the wall, or will SOFM? No, we are done.
Oh.
And what I was going to say is that Melfight, because he is so accelerated, 3-1-1, is going to get tankier against this AD carry lineup so much quicker than you would expect in a normal game. And that just means that Kindred, the Corki, are going to start slowing down in their damage. And LeBlanc has always been a mid-game carry in that AP assassin role. So honestly, the later this game goes, and it's going to get late very early, the better it is for the SEA team comp.
It's going to get late very early. I'm following you. I'm following you.
There's been 24
Itemization and gold. Yeah, I get you. I get time will not change. But now Thaldron, he's in trouble. Guys, buy some wards. Thaldron is going to get dropped.
We removed them from the game. This is what we wanted when we made the change. So they pick up another kill in the top lane. You see that exhaust coming up huge. I love it. He goes exhaust and blue smite instead of red smite to get all of the resistance shred on there. Optimus taking a look at Holy Phoenix, but he's okay right now. And 24,000 gold apiece. Only one turret taken.
That's the most mind-boggling thing. Towers have been made basically paper thin on this patch, and you'd think that when your team would get 14 kills, you'd have a tower. But no, GPL are showing they want at least 1 kill a minute. Turkish TCL squad needs to prove their worth because they are currently 4 kills behind the time to limit.
The thing that impresses me even more is there was an ace right in front of the Dragon pit. And Dragon wasn't even looked at. It's like, nah, that's not our jam right now. Are there any more humans around? Who can we go PvP against? PvE is not their game. And once again, looking for Thaldron.
Well, let's find out. This is a 1v1 that I think Thaldron may be able to win with an equalizer, but he's taken too much damage. The overheat is there, and wow, he just melts SOFM. He needed to be some support, or he needed his exhaust up. G4's looking for Naru. The chains connect. Naru's going to dash over the wall and not play with his fate.
Yeah, and this is one thing that Thaldron is very good at, is making sure that he balances the overheat very well, and he got in there very quickly, got some nice auto attacks down, and will be able to defend his turret.
So, Thaldron's going to get in, pick up a bunch of the CS. Well, Crystal finding an set his sights on this Dragon. There's no support. Naru's got knocked up. Last breath comes out. G4 kills the clone. Naru does have flash. Oh, very nice juke on that distortion.
But he also went back towards a creep wave. He needs to be careful here because one will be coming up quite soon.
There's some support there from Crystal. So if G4 went too far, maybe. Thaldron's been poked out a little here by Archie, but look at the damage in return.
Yeah, returns a favor. Looks like he's heading towards some more penetration. Maybe even a death cap at this rate. And G4 starting to farm up in the mid lane, has created a 20 CS lead, but SOFM wants to get busy again.
SOFM is... He wants revenge. Come on, do it, Phoenix. Do it, Phoenix. Everybody... Oh! Yes! Holy Phoenix is powered up. Now, the alarm would have gone. Where is he going? Where is he going? This is the question. Tell me, Spawn.
There is no teleport available is what I was going to point out, so I don't think they can actually engage on this one. Bottom lane turret falls at the same time as top, so all of a sudden the GPL have opened up a gold lead and maybe just an accelerated way out of base.
Now, if you remember the replay, the last time we saw that, it's about a screen and a half worth of distance on that special delivery Valkyrie.
He's
look at Phoenix.
Looking for the mid lane gank.
I believe.
No turret there. He probably could have made it.
Yeah, he could have, but now it's just going to burn out. 2/3 of the time is burnt away. Rapidly increased movement speed, so we can still catch up that wave in the bottom lane. And we've had about 3 minutes of gameplay with only 1 kill. This is complete change to what we've been experiencing, but it has allowed the teams to settle into their lanes, complete some of the major items. Leandri's now for Thaldrin, Spirit Visage for Archie.
And wow, a straight up Leandri's Torment, so probably going to go into a Rylai's Crystal Scepter after that. Moss may be caught.
A little bit of trouble, has a lot of support though from the rest of his squad. And that will allow the GPL to push in on this tower. I don't think there's enough wave clear here for Turkey's squad to clear without that equalizer. GPL though, they're not committing.
Oh, Dumbledore gets a ghost out actually, looking for SOFM.
And it's gonna find a Raptor instead. SOFM is gonna smite that one away, 66 gold in his back pocket. The tower still somewhat under pressure, but...
And you can see that Crystal's already had enough of SOFM. He's like, that's it, mate. I'm marking you. You are now my new target in this match, because he's been in his jungle at every step of the way and really has started to get those kills on the board. He's part of 10 of 14. I can't believe that at this stage of the game.
Very impressive numbers. We'll find out whether or not it's going to impact the rest of the fights. We're about to hit 20 minutes, 2,000 lead. The gold for GPL.
He's got home guard boots and he's going for another offensive item. There's probably going to be a Youmuu's Ghostblade you'd have to think coming out. Maybe actually a more of Malmortius.
Does SOFM know this is not Ultimate Bravery and this one counts?
Oh, he's got him!
Phoenix, he's getting chunked. So I go back to my original question. Maybe I take it back because that build just
does a heck a lot of damage. So you saw it right there, especially with the exhaust reducing resistances, just means that no one can fight back against him. You don't do enough damage, and he's a legitimate assassin on this ladder.
Now that works in favor of the GPL. They extend their gold lead.
I'm waiting for the time he goes for an insect, but just one-shot someone and they don't go through the team, and he's like stuck waiting there. Like, why did I even do that?
Well, I'm pretty sure he'll be pretty happy. 5v4 will still work out. You can see Crystal still targeting SOFM, but he's too slippery.
Yeah, and this is something that the Bangkok Titans like to do a lot. They move Warlock into the mid lane to just hold down the farm and try and elongate G4's lane. You can see Archie playing a very similar role here.
Naru, of course, going to catch what I think was a ward. That was a little weird. We'll admit that one. But not going to matter at the end of the day. Archie had a lot of hit points to play with, and GPL have got themselves 3 of those scrying orbs. We've been noticing 2 is somewhat of the standard. This one is a little more. Archie takes a bunch of poke, but nothing really going to deter him from pushing this wave in.
Nothing is going to phase the Rock at this part of the game. As we said, he just got so many kills that he's very accelerated. All of a sudden going in on G4.
And the wind wall says nope.
Yeah, exactly right. At this stage of the game, 100% cooldown reduction, already has Merc Treads in a 1v1 situation. No one can really go up against Yasuo because of all the mages.
No, not the case. And with Archie's MR and HP, he's even able to withstand some of this all-in from Naru, some of the poke from Holy Phoenix. But it will add up, it will stack up, so we can't just keep taking face tank shots if they want to try take that tower down. SOFM, I believe, is still the target of Crystal.
And one thing I do want to point out right now is the GPL ward's very deep in the jungle. This is something that, not going in this time. This is the 2 wards down on the bottom side of the map. When you leave mid turret up, you get this wow.
Wow, Naru's caught. G4's looking for more. Flashes over the wall. Naru's going to distort away. If G4 can get through the Mimic, that might be enough to close the difference, and they end up trading summoner spells. G4 again wins out.
Do it, SOFM. No. So what I was going to say, if you leave the mid turret up, you can actually control the jungle pass, and people get caught out very often in wildcard regions, cheating and going through the shortcuts around the jungle like that.
Crystal's going to be in trouble. Lamb's Respite keeps him alive long enough that the Dragon's Rage does not kill him. There's the counter to your Assassin Lee Sin.
Yeah, it certainly does survive it, but they pick up 2 turrets for their trouble, and you can see that Crystal, he wanted to cheat through the jungle to get towards that bottom lane. SOFM reads it like a book because of those 2 wards and is able to make the right play.
So 5,000 gold lead at 22 minutes. GPL have now hit the accelerator pedal. That early, late game, early game scenario is getting to a stage where Optimus is now powerful as well. Dragon's up in 5 seconds.
This game is ridiculously accelerated. Look at G4.
Ooh, that was close.
He is on boots and 2 completed items. Like, this is exactly where the Yasuo wants to be. Anything on top of this, honestly, right now is just luxury for the guy. Pretty much has his lifesteal up the new masteries that did come through. And Tholdren, this mid-game team comp from the Turkish lineup, hasn't really been able to find those big wombo team fights.
Because the mid-game started at 6 minutes. I don't even think he had his ultimate really when it started. It's been chaos.
And the funny thing is, it was the play that they started in the bottom lane that really unlocked this scrappy team fight kind of style. And as I said, maybe it was a little bit of an overstep to continue that fight.
And of course, if we step back and we look at Southeast Asia and the GPL squad, they did the same thing to Oceania earlier today. They had a great early game. They picked up a ton of kills. They really punished the Aussies. And then in the mid game, they started to fall apart a little bit. They didn't really push the towers down very effectively. They put themselves in what was like a 65-35 Baron scenario that like Carbon won out. So for GPL, let's see what they've learned from that game to this game in terms of pressing their advantage and closing the game out.
Yeah, 100% agree, and I think it is to just go back to that split push style. You can see how comfortable G4 is in this bottom lane, and with SOFM playing such an aggressive role, it means any rotation to try and catch out that split pushing Yasuo is going to be punished very quickly. And you can see Holy Phoenix once again looking to make a play. See what he gets this time around.
And there is a teleport from Tholdren, but Phoenix did get spotted out, so Southeast Asia will be aware of the engaged power that Holy Phoenix can put down. GPL on the other hand,
here.
They're going to look themselves for a kill. Steel Tempest does not knock Naru up. Therefore, G4 does not have an easy engage, but there is a flank opportunity. The Black Shield has been used. Crystal's put down. Wolf's Frenzy looking for a target. That Valk goes so far with a special delivery. Lamb's Respite keeps Crystal alive, and look at the heal. That brings him back up. Naru's been dropped on the backline somehow, as is Double Doge. Moss is following shortly thereafter. 2 members of the Turkish squad are down. Tholdren's already used the equalizer. He's been exhausted by SOFM. That serrated Dirk is doing damage. The knockup comes in from Archie, and G4 closes it out. That's an ace for the GPL.
And once again, SOFM gets 2 kills in that, cleans up Naru before he even gets to the fight, and then takes out Tholdren as well. Turn their eyes towards the Baron with the Kalista, with the Yasuo. This should be so easy.
The only cost was Moss's life, and Turkey opted into that. GPL were challenging them in the mid lane, and instead of falling back, Turkey engaged. They ended up losing their entire team and the Baron.
Yeah, so once again, Turkey now 10,000 gold roughly behind, and it's over these fights. They picked a scrappy team fight comp and just are not able to get it done. That was without Archie, the big tank, arriving until the very end. Let's take another look at it. Crystal gets completely destroyed here, and once again, Optimus flashing out of a lot of the magic damage. And SOFM just deleted Naru. I don't know how that happened, but as the team fight continued, Tholdren wasn't there, not enough follow-up damage, and SOFM and Archie just able to clean up.
And if the only target you can take out as a support, it simply does not matter. Optimus stays alive long enough to re-engage, and Moss the only victim. So Turkey, their team fights are being left in question, and they now need to deal with Baron-empowered minions and this ridiculous, ridiculous power that GPL has. Frozen Fist actually picked up there for Archie in the top lane. That's not traditional at all.
No, it certainly is not, but the reason I think he went for it is because Tholdren looks to be answering his split push. You can get in melee range of the Rumble quite easily, but Rumble cannot deal with these creeps at all. And SOFM...
Wow, Tholdren's in trouble. Tholdren's dead. SOFM is... Well, this is what you wanted to see, Spawn. You wanted to see the Lee Sin, and SOFM is putting on a clinic. G4 engages, doesn't get the knockup, is going to get away with that Quicksilver Sash before the range poker Phoenix takes him down, but it's worth, because Optimus gets 80% of the mid lane tower down. Optimus is in a little bit of trouble. Death Sentence catches onto Naru. Boss gets pulled up, knocks up Double Doge. They've got themselves a kill. Optimus is still alive. The barrier keeps him up before Holy Phoenix drops him. Lamb's Respite will keep Moss up for a few seconds before Holy Phoenix gets himself a double, as Naru's got himself some kills. Tower dropped, I believe, in the top inner lane, and Naru's now in trouble. SOFM not going to get the kill. It's another one to Holy Phoenix. Defensive flash from Crystal means the Unstoppable Force doesn't connect. And Turkey finally finds some mechanical outplays.
And you saw the incoming pings from Moss, because he's like, Archie, where are you, buddy? We're fighting here. Instead, he was taking the tier 2 turret. But once again, Turkey finally put together a team fight that actually looks okay for them. But they just lose so much control over the map. Sure, that gets rid of the Baron buff, but now they're on the bare minimum. Mid-turret so low, everything else knocked down, and this was so funny. This is a 2v4 that Optimus and Moss opt into. Naru trying to get as much work done as possible. But look at the Malphite in the top lane. He's just not moving.
Hashtag got to get that tower. Double Doge is in trouble again. G4, though, doesn't manage to connect with his Tempest. Actually uses the exhaust. There's no Unstoppable Force from Archie. The one irony I would say from that fight, if Optimus had gone into the Lamb's Respite, he would have stayed alive. But obviously, not all that much experience against Kindreds, as G4 was dropped in the background. At this point, I have to stop talking about single kills, because there's other stuff to talk about, Spawn.
All of a sudden, Archie also caught out.
All right, let's see. Crystal wants to chase, but he's alone. Doesn't have support of the rest of the team. And the true assassin, SOFM.
He's still alive, man. Dragon kicks that pink ward out of the pit. That will be number 2 for the GPL. And as you said, there's just these little picks happening left, right, and center. But GPL are that strong at the moment that they don't really care. G4 can die, and they will still take the team fight.
40 kills in 29 minutes.
Play-by-play dream.
My word. There's still 2 more games to cast after this, and I'm already losing my voice. So, GPL, you're killing me just as much as you're killing the Turkish team at the moment.
All right, cool. Another item I really want to talk about is Merc Scimitar, because they gave it... Oh, don't do it to me, SOFM. They gave it some lifesteal. So as far as the likes of Kalista and Yasuo go, actually really helped them out, because along with that passive, it is enough to really sustain you through the mid part of the game, where Bloodthirster used to be kind of mandatory. And we'll see whether, now that they've reached those cleansed power spikes, they will be able to get the team fights going again.
Well, GPL haven't needed a full team fight, because they've been able to find those skirmishes so effectively, so often. We did see Holy Phoenix being pushed away from the mid lane there by G4. And look at that bounty board. I believe that is a max bounty Holy Phoenix. So if he does get dropped, all of that team gold will be valuable. G4's in trouble. All the cleansers in the world are not going to save you against 4 members from the TCL. And holy hell, Holy Phoenix goes deep. It delivers the package to Moss before SOFM boots him to bout. And it'll be a kill onto Moss, though, regardless. GPL now making the mistakes Oceania made earlier in terms of positioning and map placements.
Yeah, they certainly are. You know, they need to take that big, deep breath and just slow the game down a little bit, because they are so far ahead still. But if they keep giving gold over to the assassins on the side of Turkey, it will eventually come back to bite them in the backside, because the game will even out. We've seen that all the wildcard teams are struggling to close. And
There's
this game
no real
doesn't look
big
to be
surprise.
different.
There's no real surprise for that one when you consider that these teams don't necessarily have the same, practice, the same training. But when SOFM can just do this to an AD carry, that's your way into the game. SOFM took a lot of damage in return and needed the exhaust, so that is a good sign for Turkey. And all the global gold from that bounty is an even better sign for the GPL.
One thing I will say is that Holy Phoenix kind of panic-used summoner spells there. When SOFM had already committed, Baron is up for it in a minute. He needed to hold them if they have any hope of being able to contest that objective. Now he's an AD carry without his escape summoner spells, and that could come back and bite the Turkish lineup.
Let's take a look how Holy Phoenix positions. Good damage onto Optimus. But may not be able to deter him. He's got lifesteal from that Merc Scimitar and Blade of the Ruined King. couple seconds with some minions, and he'll be right back to healthy. Crystal with the long range.
He was kind of tentative. I don't really want to hit you right now, just in case you kill me. I'll let you go back to base, and you see that finally the GPL, they take that breath we were talking about. They're looking to set up around Baron. Not very many wards, so they recall, get the whole team out there. Checking on SOFM's build. For those playing at home, he has a dead man's plate. I guess that's technically a defensive item, but the rest of it's just full offensive.
I absolutely love the more on this patch with some of the changes, and we'll see if SOFM can keep using it. Movement speed is great from those Moby boots, plus the dead mans allow him to find more targets to kill. And Baron is the order of the day. So that's spawned right now. Vision is not the deepest for GPL, nor is it very deep for Turkey. So some blind face checking is in order. And this pressure in the mid lane will buy some time for the GPL squad. They now have themselves 4 of those oracles. In actual fact, it's 4 on both sides. So this is a big departure from our previous game.
Yeah, they just don't care about dropping wards. Instead, they're using the blue trinket to scout out. They start up the Baron. See whether Naru can get in there for a potential steal.
Oh, this is scary. Thaldrin has started his teleport, but it will be too late. The wind wall will block some of the poke. Baron's been secured by the GPL and the Callista. G4 will not follow the knockup as Naru is booted away. A shutdown onto Holy Phoenix. Lamb's Respite is down and Crystal's left for dead as Thaldrin's off on the back line. Now Crystal is going to use that Dance of Arrows followed by a flash to get out. He'll dodge away from the Sonic Wave as well. It's a 1 for 2, 1 for 3. As Optimus should be able to chase that down. Crystal will follow shortly, and with 4 members of the Turkish team down and Baron, GPL should be able to get at least 1 inhibitor if they can go for it. But no, kills is the order of the day. SOFM almost predicted that dash.
Yeah, it certainly looked like he was going to be able to get it, but they're still chasing the kill here. Maybe just trying to stop Naru from going back to base.
Go for the objectives. I guess they can, now that they have Baron buff, and you can, of course, see Optimus shoving it in.
G4 actually left the mid-wave to try and chase the kill one more time. They're just so thirsty for blood right now, the GPL lineup, that everyone's respawned. That meant nothing.
So, teleports come in here from Archie onto the top lane. Mid inhibitor turret is down as well. Unstoppable Force will only be a few seconds longer. Do it, Archie. You can find a target. G4 does have access to his ultimate if a target were around, but it is not this time.
I want to point out that they spent like 30 seconds chasing Naru and still got 2 inhibitors. They probably could have ended the game off the last team fight, but 33 minutes in, Baron buff, double inhib, certainly looks to be going the GPL way as we take another look at that Baron fight. Great flash there from Optimus, but Moss's timing was even better to throw himself back in and catch Crystal out there with Holy Phoenix. And from there, the team fight was just over.
Yeah, it definitely was. The moment they split up, the strength of the skirmish from GPL, simply too much to overcome, especially with the lead they'd built up. And thanks to all the gold, GPL now super minions in 2 lanes.
And another more picked up right now. G4 also going for this item. As we said, with the drop-off of the Last Whisper, no longer really mandatory, never really was on Yasuo anyway because of the ultimate, and he can just keep stacking these defensive/offensive hybrids and make himself even more annoying to deal with.
Even more annoying. It's been incredibly difficult for the time being. What a great performance from the GPL. The Turkish squad, they've come out. The Kindred, which was first pick, has not really done a lot. It didn't have a great impact in the early game. Lamb's Respite has been intermittently successful, but truthfully, it has not been game-changing. And this composition that the Turkish team has put together has been found wanting against the aggression of GPL.
Yeah, certainly has. Just was too squishy with how far ahead SOFM gotten. You know, once again, got to take a look at Crystal's item build. Trinity Force into Blade is quite expensive for a jungler. You would maybe expect to see something like a Maw or even, Holy Phoenix wants it with a flank. They have to go soon because creeps are coming into the base, but something like a Yomu's maybe would have been more appropriate as Moss gets Crystal.
So let's see, Dark Passage Rather the Dark Binding connected from the Dark Passage player. And all of a sudden, the Turkish team is getting dunked. The final breath comes out. Holy Phoenix, you've done a Trevor. You felt in only to die. There was no support, and you went way too deep. GPL have got themselves 3 kills at 0 death. Norris looking to make it 1, but he will not find it. Doesn't even channel the Ignite. And Turkey lose 4, lose a Nexus turret. They will be losing their base. And Southeast Asia go 2-0 and keep themselves tied with Brazil at the end of day 1.
And this is a question we were asking of the Turkish lineup. Can they get it together on the international stage? In the first game, answer is no. And the 2 teams that went through to Worlds to represent the international wildcard region both exit day 1 undefeated.
I just need to catch my breath. 53 kills in 36 minutes. It's great to see the Turkish players smiling. Humble Doge there, standing next to Holy Phoenix with some grins. You know, even with a loss, that was a fun game. It felt almost like an ARAM. Trevor,
I want to point something out to you. SOFM has just done the most damage in a game with the Yasuo on this patch. That is absolutely insane. The jungle Lee Sin has won damage dealt to champions by 10,000.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But what a great performance. SOFM has a gigantic Lee Sin backpack, and he can put the entirety of his team in that backpack and deliver them to wherever there are champions to kill.
Yeah, and all we heard of the full Lewis lineup and SOFM was that this is a guy that is a playmaker, like never a dull moment, will go in on a dime. And the entirety of that game, he was just challenging people on the Turkish lineup, and they were found wanting.
Definitely were. So congratulations to Southeast Asia and the GPL. We're going to find out more about that game from the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Quickshot. And what a fun game there as Southeast Asia claim their undefeated streak. Turkey unlucky, unfortunately, and do pick up 1 loss to start off the day of the first one. But oh man, that was a crazy game. Like, as Trevor said, it kind of felt like an ARAM, and with how chaotic and how many kills there were, I can see where he was coming from.
It kind of felt like everyone was kind of smoke screen. They had no minimap, no vision, and the goal was to just walk as far to the enemy base as possible and fight whoever you see first. And with that in mind, like, who does it really favor? And looking at GPL's lineup, like, at the other side, Turkey have a lot of magic damage, so the gold efficiency of magic resistance is going to be very, very high. And then you have the Yasuo that has this item breakpoint where when he reaches 100% crit, he becomes very strong. And we saw how the matchup in mid kind of shifted towards him when that happened.
I think the biggest thing about that, though, to take it to a little bit more of a holistic level, how this affects GPL as a region, they search for kills. They don't look for objectives. This has been ringing true for months. The IWCA, they had the most kills out of any team in every single game that they would play. It was absurd to consider, and this plays into their favor even further. Not only are they the better team efficiently in terms of champions and items they can build for them, but that's how their region plays. Turkey catered to that, and it just felt like this chaos theory, basically, where they just went all in all the time, and it didn't make sense.
Well, let me tell you guys about the word chaos, because, you know, being from Europe, I feel like we've got some unicorns that are very experienced, or previously would have been. And I like to think I know a thing or two about chaos style and how bad it is and unsustainable it is for a team-based game. You cannot just consistently win from being overly aggressive and taking random fights. That being said, it's all-star teams, so the level of coordination isn't as high. I think I'm going to get sick of saying that over the next couple of days, but it is very true. It does ring true, and you can see it in this game that mechanically, if you can outplay just again and again and again and just snowball harder and just keep crushing your opponents, it can result in a win, but it's very messy, and the games are getting drawn out because of it.
So I like the point you bring up about it being an all-star team and how chaos, it actually works. They're a team that's not meant to be refined. They're meant to be all over the place. They're just solo queue heroes, essentially, brought together as 5 superstars to try and win the game. Chaos theory, this over-aggression that they're actually bringing about, can force errors. And if you're forcing errors against a team that isn't as refined because it's an all-star event, it might work out well for them.
And with that in mind, it's like the Lee Sin even played with exhaust. Yeah. It felt like the GPL lineup really, truly wanted the game to go like this, just full crazy mode. And speaking of Lee Sin, we saw the first pick Kindred. And I feel like Lee Sin is the natural counter to Kindred because he can simply kick anything out of the ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, chaotic and coordinated in different ways in different parts certainly was the Name of the day there for C. But Rusty, you had a replay that you wanted to look at, which emphasizes just how ridiculous parts of this game could get.
I mean, to put it simply, the replay goes for upwards of 45 seconds. So we'll just roll this through right now. We'll talk about it as it happens. This is all because of Corki having the special delivery, engaging with the teleport from Thaldron, and Dumbledoge using the ultimate to try and keep them down. The problem with this is they're actually engaging at a very predictable time. G4's got the inside track and has zoned Naru, and SOFM, as we have seen from him time and again, is hitting every single Lee Sin Q and just proceeds to destroy everybody ever. This is one of the big turning points for him as a player. G4 one more time hits the mechanics. He's on point with this Yasuo. That is definitely true. It's almost like it's counterintuitive. They've got the Malphite, they've got this big combo to work against this Turkish side, and you expect the Kindred to be very good at denying it. But what we're seeing is them playing mechanically and individually very strong. They're not using the wombo, they're just destroying their opponents.
Wow, and you basically did that whole replay in one breath. I'm very impressed. I don't expect to see too much of this composition. I like it with the Turkish team we're running, with the Rumble, with the Corki. I think we should call it like X marks the spot, because you just want to like layer the equalizer and the empowered Valkyrie
Fight on
over
the
each other. The number of times Holy Phoenix is like, I'm going in, guys! No, it just was not. I just heard an eruption of laughter right at the last fight when he just zoomed straight through. Not the most effective of fights to have your AD carry go straight
He used the special package, he used his Valkyrie back, and then flashed to get to the original position with 10% of his health left. Like, what is he doing?
I feel like the Corki passive, since it's on a timer, you only have it for like a certain period of time, you kind of want to use it. It's like, same thing with like Lee Sin. Oh yeah, I really want to press Q again here, even though I'll die, just for fun. Why not, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of that from SOFM, certainly. So we'll see if his Lee Sin and his Q button's working, because it certainly was in that game. But we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, Oceania will take the roof once again versus Japan.